finna be freelance.
Wait for this to go away.
All right, how's everybody doing this evening? Welcome back to Let Me Put Some Liquor on It. It's KP and JJ. So everybody slow down, chill out, and, let's put some liquor on it. Let's see what we're talking about tonight.
All right. JJ, have you heard about the reporter that has trial Monday? She is going to trial because she was arrested at a George Floyd Black Lives Matter protest.
No, I haven't heard about it. Is this her?
Yeah, this is her. This is a picture of her getting arrested. This is what she looks like on a normal day-to-day occasion.
Okay.
So I want to play the video of her report.
She's a reporter?
She is a reporter.
Okay.
Coverage of the summer protests. Des Moines Register reporter Andrea Sahouri is charged with failure to disperse and interference with official acts. Sahouri was pepper sprayed and says that during her arrest she told officers she was a journalist. While Polk County Attorney John Sarcone's office claims that Sahouri wasn't wearing press credentials and appeared to be an active participant. The trial could last 2 days and will be the first trial for a working journalist nationwide since 2018.
Now, I will say that the police did refuse to show the body cam. Now, that is suspect. That suspect, did she really admit that she was a reporter? But it looked like she didn't have a lanyard on in the picture of the video.
Okay, I'm with it. Wait a minute. So, she got arrested during the Black Lives Matter protest this summer that had the whole world in flames. So, if you're a reporter, how come you didn't have credentials on? Like this lady said, if you're a reporter, have some credentials. Like when these cops come up and they ask you, you see some ID, can they see some ID or something like that? If they went to her and they asked her that, and she has no proof, only thing they're not just going to go on word of mouth. I've seen people play like they're FBI agents with no credentials. You gotta have credentials. You can't just go to your job. If that was like, you just can't go to your job and say, I work here. And they let you in? No. If they do, they stupid. So, I got a lot of questions on it. Let me put some liquor on this one.
Now before I say my opinion, I have a video of her saying what her version of what happened.
Okay, let's see it. While I put some liquor on it, shouts out to, liquor.
Okay, mom, today. And we were running, police were approaching, the crowds, trying to get them to disperse. We were running. My boyfriend who was with me was hit by a tear gas canister.
Was he the cameraman?
And as I was, seeing if his leg was okay, police came closer. And we went around the corner and I was saying, I'm pressed. Police deliberately took me, sprayed pepper spray on my face, and then put me in zip ties. What are they called? Zip ties. I'm in the back of a cop car right now. I believe we haven't moved anywhere. I think we're still in Merrill Hay parking lot. But yeah, I'm just doing my job as a journalist. I'm just out here reporting as I see. I asked why I was arrested, and they said, I think something about failing to disperse or something about that. And I said, well, I'm a journalist. And the police informed me that I would have to report from further away. I said multiple times, I'm a reporter with the Des Moines Register. I'm a reporter with the Des Moines Register. day though. Pepper spray really stuck my eyes and my face. But I'm feeling better now.
All right, so that's the video of her telling her side of the story.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everybody watching and listening. Obviously, this channel is called Let Me Put Some Liquor on It. So, I'm finna put some liquor on this situation. She actually told on herself in this video, in the second video. She told on herself. She said the police officer told her, if she's a journalist, you're going to have to report from a distance away. If we revert back to the first video, her charges were, the cops are saying she looked like she was an active participant in the riots or the protests. So the cops said if she, and I'm using her words, if she's a journalist or she's a reporter with no credentials, I'm taking your word. Report back from a distance. More I'm confused on, how do you show up to a job with no credentials? So, white privilege kicks in right now. This is what I'm thinking. White privilege kicks in. That you could show up to a job with no credentials and you could just be a person and say, okay, this is what I'm doing today.
But she's not white.
She's not white. She's not white. She's not white. She's not black, but she's not white either. Like she said, her and her boyfriend. I thought the dude was the cameraman or something, but it was her boyfriend. So, if you're a news reporter, where's your cameraman? You ain't got no notepad, nothing. Like, to be a reporter, you have to document situations.
Do you think it was her plan to get arrested just for clout?
It could have been. She could have woke up that morning and woke up and brushed her teeth and walked out the house and said, okay, this is my plan today.
Because I'm only saying that because we all have certain attire we wear when we go to our job. Rather you're doing construction work, you got your high vis on. Mm-hmm. Rather you're working in retail and you're dressed up a little bit more than you usually would be if you were going to the store. She showed up as a news reporter in a spaghetti t-shirt and some pants. Now, you look like everybody else in the crowd.
You look like everybody else.
When you click on the news, they have on blouses and dress pants and little shoes.
Little shoes. Does she look like that?
No.
Did she look like that?
She looked like she was going to the gym, like she finna go work out.
She looked like she was finna partake.
In the protest, she didn't look like someone who was there to just record.
So where was she at? Was she in Minneapolis, St. Paul?
Yeah.
Rest in peace, George Floyd. I remember watching it, and they, like I said, they were burning down police stations and fire departments. Like, these people were upset. And there were reporters reporting it. It went to all the major news outlets.
And she doesn't work for a major news outlet.
So why would they respect it? If she worked for a major news outlet, she would have came in with her credentials. Her credentials and a face mask.
Because if she worked for a major news outlet and you went to jail because you did not show your credentials, you would be in danger of losing your job.
Yeah, you would. If you showed up to your job, your regular 9 to 5, without your credentials, are you not in danger of losing your job?
They're going to ask you why you showed up to work like you're not ready to show up to work.
Okay. So she showed up to work, not ready to work. So you got arrested. Now, granted, you could have came to me and said, okay, I'm a reporter. I'm not even a cop. I'm not going to believe you. That's one. The second one, I'm like, why do you have a trial? The charges that you got should have just been a fine.
Maybe because she was acting like everyone else.
She was.
She acted, she's doing the normal things you see in a riot, in a protest, and she wanted to be different. She wanted to say, you have a trial, lady, because of this live video we just watched.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting this police department on blast,
mm-hmm.
and you're embarrassing them,
mm-hmm.
and they're going to make you pay for it because you deserve to get arrested. Now, you deserve to get arrested because you didn't have a badge.
You didn't have a badge, and that's what it all comes down to. It's like when a cop pulls you over, he's going to ask you first the simple questions: driver's license and insurance. Before he gets into, do you have bombs, knives, guns in the car? Have you been drinking and driving? He's going to first ask you, are you legal to drive? Do you have license? Do you have insurance? Now, insurance varies by state to state. But the license, that's nationwide. You need proof of identification. So, to tell a cop you have your press, you're part of the press, and he gave you your respect, and so he told you, if you're part of the press, step away for a minute, or film from a distance. And that's what the press should not be in the mix. They should be on the sidelines.
And when you look in a crowd, you obviously know who's the press by the lanyard around their neck, the attire they come to, the attire they come to the protest in.
Indeed.
And there's an obvious camera recording the whole event that's right behind them. It's 2021. I understand that we have iPhones, technology, and people sometimes do live on their phone, and that's their version of press. Understand that.
That's their version. Listen to what you just said. That's their version. That's their version of press. But is it true press? No. You got an iPhone that you'll upload to social media, but are you part of the press? Just because you have an iPhone doesn't make you a part of the press, but that's the world we live in today. Everybody has an iPhone. Everybody got a camera on their phone. Everybody can push, punch, and record. Doesn't make you a part of the press. Doesn't make it. So, continue on.
And this is the first video I've seen. We've seen people of the press get arrested 1,000 times.
Of course.
This is the first time I personally have seen someone in the back of a paddy wagon do a live at that particular moment. It seemed like you want something out of the situation.
And that's what it seems like. Like, I've been arrested. I've been put in the back of a paddy wagon years ago, but there was no cameras there. There was no cameras there. There was, like, I'm watching the first video where I get the charges, and the charges are actually legit. The cops said you looked like you were part of the movement. You look like
she should plead guilty.
If she would have pled guilty, there would be no trial. She would have got a fine. She might have got probation. You part of the press. Your news, whoever you work for would have paid your fines. It's part of the job. It's part of the job.
They're not gonna pay her fines because she showed to work with no badge.
Yeah, that's where you fucked up. You fucked up there. You showed up with no badge. So here's my thing. After putting some liquor on it, whatever job you got, Show up to work with your credentials. I don't care if you're the trash man. I don't care if you work for a corporation or a building or a warehouse. Show up with your credentials. Show up. You know, when you go through orientation, they give you an ID. I don't care if you work for the military. You get an ID badge. You can't go onto a military base without an ID badge. Show up with it. This lady today showed up with no ID badge, but a black crop top shirt. So during these protests, everybody was wearing black. You're wearing black. You know, maybe you felt some type of way about the situation. All I'm saying is be professional and show up with your credentials. If she would have showed up with her credentials, she wouldn't have been arrested. She might have been pepper sprayed and punched in the face because things happen in chaos. Things happen. But if you go back and look at what was reported, like I said, there was nobody around. It wasn't 20 people getting put in the paddy wagon. It was just you and your boyfriend. I don't know who you work for. I don't know if you're freelance. I don't know. But if you showed up with some credentials, none of that would have happened. Now you got a trial. You can have a trial on a speeding ticket if you choose to take it. If you get a speeding ticket, the judge is going to ask you if you don't pay the speeding ticket before you have to go to court. The judge is going to ask you, do you plead guilty? Do you not plead guilty? If you don't plead guilty, you're going to go to court. You're going to go to trial. And that trial is not going to be 2 days. Her trial is 2 days. I'm confused. It looked like she clout chasing. That's what it looks like to me. But continue on while I keep putting some more work on this.
I'm going to ask you, yay or nay, does she deserve the 30 days in jail if she gets it for not showing her credentials?
30 days in jail? Nah, she don't deserve it. But if that's what the law is saying, I'm not saying what the police are saying, what the law in the book says.
That's what the law say.
If that's what the law says, she wouldn't have got 30 days in jail. She would have just got a fine, maybe some probation. She probably would have got 12 hours of community service. You could have done that in 1 day. You know, now you want to take it to trial. Sometimes, people, we got to realize when we're in the wrong. So, that's it. Just realize when you're in the wrong. So, I appreciate everybody for watching. Let me put some liquor on it because I did. If YouTube was better, I could go on for hours about this. But hey, be cautious out there, y'all. Be safe.